welcome to my channel. I'm Malia, and if you've been watching my videos, then you already know my story and have heard about the trauma that I went through being raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So I wanted to talk with you all about what exactly religious trauma is, how it affects us, how I'm working through what I've gone through, how it's affected my life as a child, as an adult, share the research with you that I've done. Hopefully you can find something resonates with you, whether you relate to it from your past or something that you can take with you and just growing and healing in your future. First, I want to talk about what exactly is religious trauma. So religious trauma refers to any negative emotional and psychological effects that can result from harmful experiences within a religious community, physical or emotional abuse from religious leaders. So I think it's not common that we have physical abuse from, the religious leaders, but I think all of us know how bad the emotional abuse can be. And, Jehovah's Witnesses would think we're crazy for saying that it's the truth and it's loving and it's unity. But when you really break it down into what exactly they do to you from the time either that, you are baptized or you start studying or you're born into it, it's incredible how much it damages a person in their thinking and their love for themselves, their emotions, everything is completely damaged. So let's go into first coercion and manipulation. So when I think of coercion, I think of baptism. The first thing that they do is, if you're raised in it and you're a child, then they just push and push and push for you to get baptized as a kid. And that was something that, as I got older, I always struggled with, especially because I realized as I grew up that I didn't know anything about the religion when I got baptized. I was barely 12, just turned 12 the day after my birthday. And, I talked about this earlier, I didn't even get all the questions correct, and they still let me get baptized. Now I see, they push for you to get baptized at a young age because they want the control. They know that if they can convince the parents that it's the right thing to do, the parents are going to do the work for them and push their children to do it. And children trust their parents, right? I did. I thought it's the right thing, so I'm going to do it. And then they hold you accountable for that. We grow up and we may change our minds and we don't get to. Nope, we got baptized. Doesn't matter if we were a child who hasn't even hit puberty yet. We're completely responsible for that decision. And that is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, even Christians should understand that Jesus was in his 30s when he got baptized, according to their Bible that they use. Manipulation, gosh, I think that could be a billion different things. They use the scriptures and twist them to manipulate us into believing what they're saying is the truth. I mean, just the fact that the governing body's not in the Bible, but they will manipulate you into believing that they're God's channel. That's not in the Bible either. That's just one example. There's so much manipulation into getting us to do what they want, as you all know. The next one is guilt and shame, which I think is probably what I know the most that I dealt with each meeting. It was like, you're not at the meetings enough. You're not praying enough. You're not going in service enough, or you're not studying the Watchtower in a week enough. I never felt, even when I was doing a lot, never felt good enough, never felt like I was enough. And that is exactly what they want, because then they keep you under their control. If you're not feeling good enough, you're always going to work harder. So they know exactly what they're doing. And then there could be traumatic events that occur. That could be sexual abuse. That could be the elders telling a woman not to leave her husband even though he's beating her or he's emotionally abusive. It's interesting how they'll allow divorce because of cheating, yet they get to decide what is worse, over someone being beat practically to death, they still have to stay with their husband because the husband didn't cheat on them. Even though he might kill them, he didn't cheat on them. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Those kind of things cause so much confusion and stress and anxiety, depression, that you can't function. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I remember not being allowed to have worldly friends, and that being so hard for me to wrap my mind around because I did see hypocrisy at a young age. And, I was sexually abused as a child, and I'm seeing these bad men in my congregation and not understanding why I can't have these friends at school who are loving and kind, and I can't spend time with them, but I have to go to the meetings each week, and I have to sit and watch these men talk from the stage who just touched my body inappropriately, being told that that's God's chosen people, they make mistakes, but they're still chosen by God. Do you have any idea what that does to a child? That makes you question everything that you feel to be right in your heart. And when you can't trust your own instincts and your own thoughts, what do you really have? You don't feel like you're worth anything. Everything that you feel, you think is wrong, and then to, be told that, it's probably your fault when you got touched or didn't do the right thing. You grow up feeling that way about a lot of things, not just that moment, but you start to question everything you feel and everything you think, and you end up just putting all your trust in someone else. And trying to sort that out when you're an adult, when you start waking up and realizing that these things don't make sense, but you're still questioning your own self, like, but I can't rely on what I think because obviously I'm wrong. Like, I need to trust God. I need to trust God. I need to trust God. It is so traumatic and damaging to have to feel that way. So then understanding what the religion has done to us all, then it's like, then what do we do, right? Like, we're confused, we're angry, we are having anxiety or depression. I remember when I got disfellowshipped and I was so upset, and I knew the way things had been handled was completely wrong, and I had been so triggered, felt like I was a teenager again in an elders meeting, and just reliving all of that again, and I hated the way I felt, and I was so mad. And then being disfellowshipped and everyone just cutting me off overnight, I know the first thing that I needed was support. I felt so alone. I felt suicidal at times, but I wanted support. So at this time, I still thought this was the truth, right? So what I did was I got on Facebook, and I was like, well, there's got to be other disfellowship people that aren't apostates that I can talk to, that will understand where I'm at, that I can at least relate to somebody so that I feel not so alone. So I started looking up ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, thinking that wouldn't be an apostate thing, that would just be other disfellowshipped witnesses. I was blown away at the amount of people I saw with a very similar story to mine. The sexual abuse is just unbelievable, of the number of people who have been through similar or worse experiences. It was like, wow, oh my God. But I still believed it was the truth. I was just like, what? How is this happening? So then I decided to look up the origins, not looking at anything apostate, but still decided to, okay, I'm gonna start figuring out, like, where did this really come from, this religion that I didn't really know a lot about it, because they took all those books off of the internet. That's actually what I tried to do first, was to see if I could find anything online. But all those original books have been removed, and I know that they've talked about them here and there at the assemblies and stuff, but I never have had a copy. So I tracked down the Studies in the Scriptures by C.T. Russell and ordered one of them off of Amazon. Then I found some more online, and that was an eye-opening moment. I don't know how many of you have read those, but they are absolutely nothing close to what the Jehovah's Witnesses teach. And I couldn't even believe that it was what the Jehovah's Witnesses started on. I tried to talk to my dad about it, and he just, that's apostate, that's apostate, that's apostate. And I'm like, well, have you read them? Have you read the studies in the scriptures? Because that's what C.T. Russell started with, those 7 books in the finished mystery. I'm like, read one of them, just one, and you'll be shocked. He didn't listen to me and he didn't do it, but I think it's really important to do the research. I had to really just disassemble it. Like, it makes me imagine like this big, huge Lego house. If you just like crash it all down, you're not really gonna like be able to tell what it was, right? At all. You're just gonna see a mess. But if you take it out kind of piece by piece, you can still tell what the thing is that you're taking apart, right? So I had to kind of just little by little, like, what about this teaching? And then what about this teaching? And I don't know about all of you, but it took me breaking it down. And I didn't have any friends or family to distract me. I was still a mom, but I spent a whole lot of time every single day deconstructing that religion. It blew my mind how much we were all lied to. In my opinion, some people think the governing body believes it's the truth. I don't. I think that they've got all of the information they know. I mean, and then reading about France and the book that he wrote and how, 1914 was even calculated wrong, and then they knew it, and he was trying to write that article to back up 1914 and was told, just write whatever goes along with that date that proves that that's the right date. And he was like, but it's not. And he couldn't do it. And then he was disfellowshipped, That all was just like, wow, they know what they're doing, but it's too late for them to admit it, in my opinion. That's what I think anyways, which explains also the overlapping generation, why they had to come up with that, because they ran out of time. Their 1914 teaching didn't come true. 100 years passed. That generation's gone. That generation's dead. So they had to create their new light, which, is there such thing as old light? Because if it's not truth, isn't it darkness or a lie? There's no such thing as new light. Anyways, the deconstruction process takes so much time, but I think it's incredibly important to get rid of all of those old beliefs. It took me a while to realize the paradise was not a real thing, that it's not happening. Armageddon, all of those things that were ingrained in us, that's not the truth. But I think after that, really doing all the research, it's so important for the support. I was getting that through those pages, and I'm so thankful for YouTube, for all the social media platforms, because there's no way you're not going to find out the truth now. Like, back in the day, we didn't have all of that, and people still left, but it was hard to really get all of the information. So I'm so thankful that it's there at our fingertips, and I just hope that more and more people will wake up, and all of the stuff out there is gonna help them. So that's why I'm here. I just want to keep researching, keep sharing, keep supporting all of you who have already left, knowing that we're all going through the same thing, and we can all help each other. I love watching all of your videos on YouTube if you're sharing, and I encourage those of you who are struggling with speaking out and talking about it, just make one video. It can be short. Even, my first ones were only like 5 or 10 minutes, and it just felt good to get it out there. And you have so much love and support from this community. Jehovah's Witnesses say that they're united worldwide, but then they shun each other and don't talk to each other and judge each other. That Jehovah's Witnesses community actually knows what genuine unconditional love is, and you're going to see that. You're going to be supported. I just made friends in Massachusetts who I flew out there. I had never met them before, and they completely welcomed me into their home and made me feel like family. I had the time of my life, and I brought my daughter, and it was amazing. It was like real family. That is what real love is. And it wasn't based on how many hours I'd spent in service or how much I was praying to God. It was about who I am as a good person and them being good people and being there for each other. It was awesome. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, to support you and help you. I will create another video soon about my journey in my healing and what I've also learned by my research of Jehovah's Witnesses. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.